Hi, and welcome to Strike a Pose. Today's pose is one in which you are all probably familiar with. It is called Downward Facing Dog. It is a very common yoga posture. We do it in most of our vinyasa classes, and it's typically a pose that we come back to time and time again. So it looks simple, but there's actually a lot going on in Downward Facing Dog. So I'm going to break it down. It is a pose that works everything from the wrists, the whole arm, the shoulders. You're engaging the core, you're stretching out the hamstrings. It's really a full body stretch. So there's really a lot going on. So I just want to show you a couple things. Before you get into the full version of the pose, there's one thing that I think is a little helpful, and that is you have to engage what's called your serratus muscles. Your serratus muscles are these muscles that surround the rib cage. And when you engage them, you actually are rotating the scapula, or the back of the shoulder blade. So just to get a feel for that, we're going to just start in a child's pose. So coming down on your heels, and just walk your hands out, almost like you're doing a puppy pose, and just lay the forearms down onto the earth. And then in order to feel that engagement in the serratus muscles, you're just going to press your elbows down into your mat, so like your hands almost want to lift, just to feel that engagement. So just take a few breaths to do that and just feel. A lot of what we do in yoga is all about a feel, and just getting that certain feel in your body that's going to just take it into a different direction. So just really engaging those serratus muscles. And then working into the pose, there's a lot to show you here, so I want to start just by showing you what the hands are doing first. So you're going to lift the knees up. This is ultimately what happens. The hips come up and you're in an inverted V, or it might look like an A shape. But for now, just keep the knees bent, focusing on the upper body. So the hands are planted into your mat. You're pressing down with your thumb, your index, and your middle finger. So just try to imagine trying to make a handprint into sand or into concrete. So you want the weight to be distributed evenly. You don't want to be rolling out on the pinkies. You want to be all 5 fingers really pressing down, but really focus on that thumb, index, and middle finger. So your head is hanging, you're pressing into the earth, and then you're actually externally rotating the arms. So the arms are going to dial out. So I'm going to show it to you this way so that you can see. So the hands are into the earth here, and you're actually rotating the arms out. So it expands the shoulder, and your wrist or your elbow crease is actually in line with your thumb. So you're not in here, you're rotating out. So you should feel the expansion in the shoulder blade here. So just keeping the knees bent for now, just try to get that feel. Let the head hang. Externally rotate the arms. And then you can begin to straighten the legs. Now the feet may or may not, or the heels I should say, may or may not touch the floor. That really does not matter. Some people really feel it there. Heels need to be on the floor, and thus they come up this way too close because they want their heels down. So a really good trick for getting in the right position is coming from the floor or from high plank. So we often go from high plank and then we push back to downward facing dog. So that's actually where your heel placement is. So you notice my heels aren't even touching the floor. So you're pressing in with the thumb, index, middle finger, and then you're rotating the arms out. Draw the bottom ribs in, so you don't want to be sinking down here. You want to really think of that inverted V or that A shape. And then you're rooting down, pressing in. And then it's here that you can kind of work on the feet if you want to pedal, if you want to just kind of adjust as needed. But you're really pressing in, and by pressing in, think of trying to send your shoulder blades down towards your hands. And just really try to engage the core, engage the serratus muscles, and breathe. And then you can come out of it by coming down to tabletop, or we often come down to high plank, low plank. So again, it is a pose that we come back to a lot in a yoga class, and there really is a lot going on. So just play around with that, play around with the shoulders, pedaling the feet, just really a lot going on in your down dog. So I hope you enjoy.